If I'm not doing a retro video on this channel, I'm probably doing something related to a random PS4 game that I've been playing and wanted to review, or something Nintendo Switch related. I really enjoy the Nintendo Switch. Yes, I obviously had my doubts about the system when it first announced. You could see videos of me saying, I don't really like this system, I don't get it, I think there's gonna be problems with it. But as time went on and I did more research on it, and of course, you know, reporting on stuff on Nintendo Enthusiast, where I am an editor-in-chief, I sort of turned a corner with the system and I got a little bit more positive before it came out. And then of course, when it came out, I instantly fell in love with it. It's a fantastic platform that is really versatile and I really enjoy it. And we recently have seen Nintendo doing really well with this system. You know, the Wii U was obviously a commercial failure. It was a flop in terms of sales figures, but Nintendo has seemed to turn a corner with the Nintendo Switch and found a market that's really adapting to it and really loving the system. So as more and more sales figures coming in, it's becoming prevalent that the Switch is a success. But is it a big enough success to actually outsell the Wii U in just 1 year? Let's find out. This is my Wii U gamepad. This is my original Wii U system that I have had since launch day. And when I picked up the Wii U, I remember I picked up Zombie U, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and like one other game. I actually did not pick up New Super Mario Bros. U. And I tell you that to say one of the reasons why I think this system didn't do as well as it could have and potentially should have was because of the weak launch lineup from Nintendo themselves. Like, Nintendo totally dropped the ball with this. New Super Mario Bros. Wii U was a great game, but it wasn't anything to really show off the hardware of the system. You know, we had been playing that series on the 3DS and the DS already, so it wasn't anything new. It didn't bring anything interesting to the table. So Nintendo really relied on third parties with this system. And it was a mixed bag, honestly. There were some really good third-party titles on the system. Zombie U was okay as an exclusive, but games like Call of Duty Black Ops 2 was a really good port and arguably better than the PS3 and the Xbox 360 versions in terms of visuals. You also had Batman City Arkham Edition, or Armored Edition, which was an amazing game. That is one of my favorite games on this system, period. You had Deus Ex, which was another great port, but all of the good ports had one major problem, and that was they were releasing so much later than the original games. You had something like Need for Speed on the system, which was a fantastic game, used PC textures and was the best looking out of the PS3, Xbox 360, and Wii U, but it released so late. It was a $60 full release from EA, and then you of course had, you know, the game on the PS3 and the Xbox 360 for like 20 bucks at the time. You had Mass Effect 3, another really, really good port. I actually played that game to completion and I loved every second of it. But the problem was it was available in a trilogy on PS3 and Xbox 360 right around the time that the Wii U version released of just Mass Effect 3, and they were the same price. So you could get 3 games for $60 or 1 game on the Wii U for $60. And things like that really damaged the Wii U. Of course, you had the huge drought, and you didn't really see any top tier titles from Nintendo. You know, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, an amazing game, but once again, it was a 2D platformer, and I don't think that's what people wanted for their new system. I think they wanted something different, something fresh. You know, like a Mario Kart that ended up selling really well, a game like Splatoon. So, the Wii U, a commercial failure, but it wasn't a bad system, it was just bad decision making, and it seems like Nintendo has sort of rectified that decision making when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, because right now this is a first party machine and there have been a ton of great games. This system released in March, okay, and we already have a Mario Kart Deluxe on there. You have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, you have Splatoon 2, you have a new IP with ARMS. Like, Nintendo is going balls out with this system, and the third parties are slowly coming around, and I think that's of course because of system sales. So, some brand new data was just released concerning system sales for the Nintendo Switch. It has sold 4.7 million units worldwide since March. And that's a lot of units, man, because if you look at the grand scheme of things, 4.7 million units. Obviously, it's been high in demand. Obviously, there have been shortages. There was the whole thing with Apple where Nintendo and Apple were having like a bidding war on product that was going into the system. Like, there's a lot of things sort of holding this back. in terms of a mass market, in terms of mass sales, because of just production issues. And for the Nintendo Switch to have been doing as well as it have, ARMS has sold over 1.2 million copies. Splatoon 2 is off to an amazing start in Japan. It sold over 670,000 copies in just 3 days. When you compare it to the Wii U version of the game, I think the Wii U version of the game sold 150,000 copies in 4 days in Japan. So there's a huge jump there, and Splatoon is so big in Japan right now. You know, Splatoon really almost made like a counterculture in Japan of, you know, merchandising, games, and, you know, cosplay and all sorts of stuff. It really took off in Japan. And so with the Nintendo Switch having sold 4.7 million units, do I think in the first year, and by year I mean March to March, it's obviously going to be, you know, a full 12 months, not just 2017 March to March, will it outsell the Wii U life to date? Well, we have to look at the Wii U sales to sort of get that information. And of course, Nintendo has released some updated Wii U sales information. Now, this may surprise you, but it probably shouldn't if you ever followed the Wii U situation. But the Wii U only managed to sell under 4 million units in its first year on the market, the first 12 months. And so the Switch has already surpassed that. Between March and the end of June, the Nintendo Switch has already surpassed the first year of the Wii U. Now, life-to-date sales for the Nintendo Wii U are 13.5 million. And with the Switch coming in at 4.7 million, you know, you could look at it one of two ways. And there's the way of, you know, a lot of the early adopters already have their system. How many more Switch units will be able to sell between now and March 2018? But there's one thing that you have to factor in here, and that's Super Mario Odyssey. Mario games always are the best sellers on a platform for a Nintendo system. Look it up. It's a Mario Kart or a Super Mario game that is the best seller for pretty much every Nintendo console. I think every Nintendo console ever. So the power of Mario is really interesting, and the power of Mario is really going to propel this system, because right now you're in the summertime. You know, traditionally spring and summer are slower months for video game hardware sales in terms of people picking up new systems. Obviously, the holidays are a huge impact on these systems. So when you factor in that we are only in July, we only have sales data up till June, and I mean, let's face it, the system has probably already sold over 5 million units. So to times that by 2 with a brand new Mario game coming out this holiday season, I think it has a good chance. When, you know, I actually did a podcast where we were talking about how many units we thought the Nintendo Switch would sell in its first year. And I said 8 to 10 million, and I sort of stick by that. But if the system's already sold 5 million, I'm definitely gonna have to probably change that number, because the holidays are going to be insane for this system. With a brand new Super Mario game, Super Mario Odyssey, people are gonna be picking this system up left and right. And for all the mistakes that Nintendo has sort of made with this system, you know, the non-clarity of the virtual console situation, the atrocious Splatoon headset situation, and the app that needs to be fixed and all that stuff, they're doing a lot of things right, and that is games. Games always sell hardware, and that's why third parties are starting to come on board, because when you see 5 million sold in just a couple months, and that it's obviously going to outsell the Wii U in probably a year, then you want your games on the system. So do I think the Nintendo Switch is going to outsell the Wii U life to date in its first year? I honestly think it will, just because of the 5 million already sold. And when you factor in the holiday season, when you factor in, you know, gaming trends and trends of the system, people are talking about the Switch. The Splatoon was a powerful game for the Nintendo Wii U, and Splatoon 2 is going to be a very powerful game for the Nintendo Switch. You're already seeing the huge impact in Japan. You're already seeing shortages. It's all really dependent on Nintendo. As long as Nintendo can get these systems out there into consumers' hands, into stores, into retail stores, into Amazon and stuff like that, there's no reason why the Nintendo Switch can't outsell the Wii U in just 1 year, which is amazing to think about. It's really good to see Nintendo turn this corner and have some success with this system, because I think the future of this system is very bright. So yes, I think it'll happen. And, you know, if next March 2018 comes around and it's sold 7 million and I was completely wrong, I'll make another video on that and I'll say I'm sorry. But yeah, I definitely think so. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Once again, the Switch has sold about 5 million worldwide. The Nintendo Wii U has sold 13.5 million to date. So, you know, I think it'll happen. Let me know if you think it'll happen. Thank you for watching this video. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and I'll catch you guys next time. Later.
RGT, NA5, RGT, NA5. RGT, NA5.